I am announcing today that Conservatives oppose the $90 billion Liberal Alto train, that we call on the Carney Liberals to cancel it, and I am confirming that a future Conservative government will cancel this $90 billion boondoggle altogether. We will save Canadians $90 billion or $8,000 per family. We will use the savings to lower debt, taxes, and inflation. We will lower the cost of government to lower the cost of living. We will greenlight projects that pay for themselves, projects that make money rather than taking money. We will unblock resources, greenlight pipelines, ports, mines, mills, and other wildly profitable private sector projects that pay taxes in to fund healthcare, education, and other essential services rather than taking money out.
So we knew the criticism of high-speed rail in this country was coming. The question was when it would come. That answer arrived last week. There you hear Pierre Poilievre, a Conservative leader, going after the Alto high-speed rail project. We also heard criticism from Yves-François Blanchet, the leader of the Bloc Québécois, concerns about costs and expropriations there as well. So let's talk about the Alto high-speed rail project, as they've just completed the first phase of public consultations. Martin Imbleau is the managing director of Alto, and he's now in studio. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
Your reaction when you hear Pierre Poilievre really bash the word boondoggle, bashing the cost, 90 billion, saying 90 billion over and over and over. Your reaction when you heard that last week?
I'm a stubborn project development, so I know the recipe. I know what it takes to get us to the finish line. We're going to start constructing this in 2030 with some activities in 29. So nothing is changing. I have a mandate. I want to deliver this. We're just completed the consultation, the first phase of consultation. Great support, many concerns, and some opposition, all very valid. So I'm project and process focus. It doesn't change much.
Listen, you've been on this show before. I talk about high-speed rail all the time on the show. My cards are on the table. I want high-speed rail. I love it. When I use it in other countries, I want to have these nice things. But I'd be lying to you if when I hear $90 billion, and then you think, okay, $90 billion, and then somebody actually puts it into other terms, like for $90 billion, that means everyone who pays taxes in the country is $4,000 per person. When I hear in the terms of what we could do for $90 billion, like for instance, basically paying for everyone's flights on Air Canada for centuries with $90 billion, I go, oh, geez, maybe it's simply too much.
Well,
Is
I
it
think
too
we're
much?
mixing investment and spending.
Okay, tell me more.
We pay tens of billions of dollars in highways per year. It's a spending. Not only we're spending it, it doesn't generate any revenue. Here, we're going to invest, let's say, 60 to 90 billion, and the Canadian government will be the owner of the asset. And then the project brings enough cash to pay for itself. It generates enough revenue that there is no subsidy. It's not like a highway where you need to subsidize the utilization. No, it generates enough revenue. Second, if we don't invest that in the high-speed rail, we need more airport capacity, more highway. All of them will be subsidized and not bringing back any value. Third things, productivity increase generates wealth, and that's how Italy, Germany, France, Spain, and every country that has invested in HSR, I've seen their productivity increase. So I like to say that we're not rich enough not to have that.
The story of Canada over the last decade is no productivity growth. And if you're telling me we can fix that in part with high-speed rail, you have my attention. Why don't we talk just the dollar signs?
Yep.
What I would love to hear right now is, hold on a second, it's going to be the 60. Why, it's not going to be the 90. It's going to be why can't, and I look at the costs of other projects around the world.
Let me give you an example.
It seems like this one's more expensive than those other projects.
First, if you do the comparison, the Financial Times published a report a couple of weeks ago about the average cost of building high-speed rail in the world. Yeah. Well, bingo, we're right in the middle of that. So no comparison, no real exception. Second,
at 60 or at 90? I mean, there's a big difference.
It's a 90 billion. But if I were to say 100 or 45, you would say it's too expensive. I cannot throw a valid, incredible number today when I don't know where I'm going to build it. How can you tell me what your house is going to cost if you're building it in Trois-Rivières or Drummondville or Peterborough or downtown Toronto? So let's do the project the right way. Where do we go? what do we build? What time does it take? And then we throw numbers. If I present you any valid numbers, I am just lying to you because I haven't done enough
But
engineering.
it sounds like you're asking for blank check. And what I'm just saying is like, you know what? We're going to get it done. And no matter what, we're going to make sure we are actually paying attention to Canadians, the will of the Canadian taxpayer to open up their wallets. And I feel what you're saying there is like, listen, it's going to cost what it costs, and it's going to come down to where we put it, and it's just going to be the cost. And if it's $120 billion at the end of the day, so be it. And it doesn't matter. And I think the number does matter.
It does matter. That's why we need to have the best practices in project management to compare ourselves and bring expertise of people who know how to operate and build this. And that's why we're associating ourselves with the private sector. It's not a crown corporation doing it in isolation. It would be a suicide to do it. So we need the private sector innovation. We need the private sector investment in it, but the majority of it will be owned by Canada. So let's do it in sequence, and throwing precise budget without doing the work is funny. It's fun to come to CJAD and say, you know what? I'm giving you a number, 45 billion. I'm not going to be here in 4 years because I'll be fired because I cannot respect what I'm stubborn, I'm boring, I do my stuff in sequence, and we'll have a detailed budget when sufficient work is done.
But there is okay, I get your point on numbers, right? Maybe it is unreasonable to say 45 or 60 or 90, whatever it is, and give you a precise number. But is it reasonable to ask that, like, the chief number one concern is keeping those costs down to respect the Canadian taxpayer?
It's keeping the cost down, but ensuring that we have something that is profitable. Because if the service is efficient and we can run at 330 kilometers per hour, and it costs 75 billion, and we have 25 million people using it, it justifies the investment because the operation brings a surplus that pays for all of the operation. So building the rights, if we build something dumb for 45 and we build something good at 60, well, let's build something good for 60. This is going to be used for the next 75, 100 years.
Points very well taken on that front. Let's talk about, another valid point here is the private sector is involved in this. They're not going to want to lose money. They got to make money here. So if you have some best case scenarios for building the line, why don't you take our listeners through, in your mind right now, how much it does cost at the end of the day, because these private sector folks need it to be profitable. They need to pay the bills at the end of the day. If I want to go Montreal to Toronto on Alto, how much will my ticket be? Do we have an idea here, respecting the fact that you say it's going to pay for itself?
Yep. It has to be affordable. So for sure, we'll have three type of ticket prices to start with. So the very affordable one, the middle class, and then the business case, the business class. So if it costs, I don't know, $150, $175 to take Montreal to Toronto.
One way, 150 one way, or round trip?
Round trip.
Okay.
So today I'm taking a flight. It's going to cost me $800 to go to Toronto. So if I book my tickets ahead of time and it costs me $175, well, I will go to Toronto way more often. But the business class will probably pay more, and then the student will pay less. Too soon to have very precise number, but the success of the project is people driven. So we need those 20, 25 million people to use it. So the affordability is going to be key in terms of ticket prices.
So I think there are a lot of people asking questions about, will the line be profitable at the end of the day? They look at Via Rail, which is a money loser. What sets this program, this project apart, where it will be a money maker?
Big difference. First, today Via has 4 million people. Because it's high speed and because we connect Montreal to Toronto in less than 3 hours, we'll have 25 million users per year. Game changer completely.
Is the 25, is that a reasonable number?
Same analysis. Let's say Madrid, Barcelona.
Yeah.
Madrid, Barcelona is 10 million people separated by 500 kilometers. Guess what? It's Toronto to Montreal. Exact same thing. And when they put that into service, 30% of the ridership came from people who were not traveling at all. The system became profitable because they had millions of users. It's like the law of gravity. Everyone wants it. Once it's in place, it's fast, it's reasonable, it's convenient, it becomes profitable. The asset will remain the property of Canada, but for sure, the services will be profitable to pay for its own operation and will also eliminate the subsidy of Via Rail.
Just to wrap up here, I do want to touch, because I get the notes from listeners who are in Mirabel and live through expropriations for the airport. What are your thoughts on the concerns from a lot of people this week and the last week about expropriations and that you're going to take too much and use too little?
Yeah. I got the chance to meet the community in Mirabel, met with the mayor, and the consultation were very useful because we got a lot of comments. So today we're consulting on a very large corridor. So it's 10 kilometers because we wanted to have all of the options considered. So that was a bit frustrating because people don't know exactly where we will go. And we'll do that in the fall. So we'll buy 60 meters of land, nothing comparable to what was done in the past. What is more important is how we're going to do it. I'm hearing concern that community will be cut because of it. It's not going to happen. Like France and Spain and Italy, the cohabitation between a high-speed rail and agricultural world works. You buy your French product, you buy your Italian product. It can be done. So we're not going to cut the community. We'll have overpass and underpass at the right spaces. I just need the input of the farmers' world. So we build things with the least impact as possible.
Martin Imbleau is the managing director of Alto. That's Canada's high-speed rail project. Thank you for coming in and answering those questions. You did have answers, and I appreciate them.
Always welcome.
iHeartRadio is throwing it back.
2010s, the decade.
To the days of huge hits and unforgettable anthems. A non-stop stream of the biggest and best.
Drake, Rihanna, Beyonce, Katy, Gaga, The Weeknd,
And more. All your decade-defining favorites all in one place.
Hi, it's Katy Perry.
Hey, it's Bruno Mars.
This is Kesha.
Find 2010's The Decade on the free iHeartRadio app. Preset the station so it's always one tap away.